Hey everybody, this is Matthew again from Black Ops, and in this tutorial we'll be discussing the get to know and setup of the general M4s that we have, which would be our Cobra, our Viper, and also our Diamondback. So we'll start out by taking our Cobra, putting that to the side. And these are the things that you're going to need to know as you purchase it and take it home before you start shooting. So we'll open this guy up. First thing we want to do, I know you can't see that very well, but one of the first things we want to do is inspect to make sure that we have all the pieces that we have. So we have our gun, we have instructions, warranty card and cautions, battery, wall charger, magazine, a few extra ammo bullets for you, and then our clean and ramrod right there. So now that we've determined that all the pieces came that were supposed to come in the box, the next thing we're going to do is visually inspect everything that we have here to make sure that it wasn't damaged in the shipping process. So we're going to take out the gun, look it over from side to side, make sure that there's no gashes or bumps or anything. Also the package would show indication of any type of abuse that way. Now that we've assessed that no damage had occurred, we'll put that back. The next thing we're going to want to do is take our battery out, our wall charger, and immediately take that over to a wall outlet and plug that in. We want this battery charging while we do all the other things, because before we plug this into our gun for the first time, we want this battery completely full. If we try to stick it in right now and get ahead of ourselves and there's only a partial charge from the factory, then we could actually cause damage to our gearbox. It won't allow it to turn over all the way, and we can seize it up, and that'll cause problems in the future. So remember, you need to have this fully charged before you can plug it in and start firing. So we're going to plug that in into the wall. Forget about it. A full charge is 5 to 6 hours, and after repeated charges after that, we're still going to recommend 4 to 5 hours for a full charge on that. If you're using a smart charger, because it's an 800 mAh battery, we're going to also recommend that you would charge it at around 0.5. It's better safe than sorry. So next thing, we're going to take our owner's manual and we're going to read it completely, front to back, page after page, and be very familiar with all the contents that it has and the operation procedures that we've listed out here. Be also very familiar with the cautions in addition to our warranty. Next, we're going to show you how to load up a magazine. I'm going to tilt that up so you can see that. So to properly load your magazine, the high cap magazine, we're going to take some high quality ammo, 6mm. We recommend obviously our biodegradable ammo. We're going to start into this. We'll start by, and this is also covered in our owner's manual, we'll start by opening the cap on the top, and we load it simply just by cupping in. You can, if you have a speed loader, those work great, but this is the method I choose right now. And once you have it loaded up, and you can see where it's to the top there, we're going to close that off. This is a sequence I prefer. You can do it other ways if you have a preference. But I'll spin the dial on the bottom, or hopper, until I see that BB load in the top there. Then I'll take the gun, insert it in there, and continue to do that. This is a high cap mag, and because of that, it's actually designed to take this. So you'll just keep on winding, winding, and winding, and winding until you hear a different kind of click. Some of you will be very familiar with this. Others, this will be good information. So continue to wind it. A lot of times at tournaments, you'll be sitting there winding and winding and winding with everyone else. All right, that sound right there. That sound indicates that you're done winding. Now this should actually, with a wind like that, this could possibly last the entire magazine. More than likely you'll try and touch it up in between there, but that's the indication, that's the sound you want to look for when you're done winding. So if you do not wind this at all, you won't have any BBs feeding through there. Then again, when you're done with your firing session or your tournament or whatever, your skirmish, whatever you want to call it, By the way, when things drop out like that, that is perfectly normal. That's actually the way it's designed. One thing, in order to keep your magazine lasting a long time, you don't want to store it when you're done with your shooting. You don't want to store it with this fully wound. And so what I'm going to do is empty it back into any of the excess. Obviously I haven't shot any, but I'm just showing you how to do this right now. Any excess right there. Now you can shut that. Right on top of this where the BBs are showing, you have a little switch. I'm going to aim this because this is spring loaded. I'm going to aim this back in the ammo box and hear that all unwind. That's actually how I want to store my magazine so that I don't have that spring in there heavily tensioned, and that way I can lose the spring. So that is how you load your magazine. One thing to remember before we start firing this is that during the manufacturing process and also during shipping, there could have been a lot of gunk actually go into your barrel. So right off the bat, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and clean that barrel. So we've provided you the proper tool to do that. So go ahead and clean it. That'll actually be covered in the maintenance of the M4s. You can check out that tutorial also. Alright, now that we've finished cleaning the barrel and gone out and maybe set up some targets just to blow some time away in order for our battery to finish charging. Once our battery is fully charged, again 5 to 6 hours initially, we're going to load our batteries up by pulling down on the delta ring right there. This is also where your fuse is located. We'll hook that up there. Nice, good flexible battery wires. Replace that. And we can go outside and start shooting now once we put our magazine back in. Now, one of the that you'll be able to do with this gun as an added feature is our adjustable hop-up. And so in order to expose the hop-up, you're going to pull this back, and these little wheels right there will be actually where you are able to adjust them. By moving these wheels forward, you're actually adjusting the hop-up. Again, this is in our instruction manual, but the hop-up allows the BB to create spin either up or down. And so the more hop-up you have, the more spin you have. Also, just as we've noted in our manual, the more hop-up you have and the more dramatic you've placed that, the more likely you are to jam BBs on the inside of your barrel. So be careful with that. It's just a little fine-tuning a little bit. So as long as you've got a clean barrel, you've adjusted your hop-up, this thing should be a dead aim. So one thing that you do not want to do with this, just as kind of do's and don'ts before you get going shooting, you don't want to leave it on full auto. So we all love the feel of full auto, especially with electric blowback. Okay, so we shoot it on semi-auto for a while, then we're going to step up to full auto. One thing we don't want to do is just after we've shot full auto, put it down and leave it and walk it away, because our coil is actually pulled back in our gearbox. That actually can be released by taking it back into semi, shooting a few shots, and then that's good. So remember, don't ever end on full auto. Always end on semi, and then obviously as you're finished with your shooting, go back to safe. Alright, now as a recap of what to do after you take all of our M4 models home and before you start shooting them, the first thing you want to do is open up the box, make sure that you have all the parts that are indicated in the owner's manual. Second, you want to make sure that we have all these parts that are functional, free of transportation or shipping damage or defects. Next, you want to plug in your battery, make sure it gets a full charge before you plug it in and start shooting. We want to be fully familiar with all of our owner's manuals and make sure that we know what it contains and how to properly operate our M4. Next, we want to load our magazine properly, making sure that we also store it properly. We want to make sure that our barrel's clean from any type of dust or grime that might have occurred during manufacturing or shipping. We want to, after we've put our battery in, put the magazine, loaded it up, we want to adjust the hop-up so that it's shooting straight, the things we do not want to do. Again, we don't want to leave it on full auto. We don't want to store our magazine in a totally coiled up position. We want to release that coil so it can stay good for a long time. That concludes the information I think you need to properly get started with all of our M4s that we carry. And as always, be safe and have fun.